Welcome to the first ever Grandma Grandson podcast.
This is my grandma,
And this is my grandson.
where we grapple with
The biggest problems of life, the universe, and everything. The things that affect us all and things that affect us both.
and the small things that don't matter in the slightest.
We do it all with 70 years between us,
And a bowl of very fresh cannabis.
but from just down the street.
Welcome to
High anxiety. I thought that was real good.
High anxiety whenever you're near. High anxiety, it's you that I fear. My heart's afraid to fly, it's crashed before. But then you take my hand, my heart starts to soar once more. High anxiety.
But I don't know that I ever really told him that story.
Because Grandpa was a very empathetic kind of guy. I think he would be able to pick up on somebody kind of sitting there intensely
Well,
clutching
you know,
their
I'll
handbag.
tell you something. He was kind of protection against everything for me.
You mean you
So
didn't
that
feel
he
as
might,
bad?
I didn't feel that badly with him because I knew he would, kill anybody that tried to hurt me or get me out of the fire. Or,
You're the fire.
I'm going to tell you why, and you're going to be one of the few people that has ever heard why I hate to go to the movies. I've always, since I was a young child, hated to go to the movies or to a show or anything. I mean, to actually sit in the theater. And why, if I do, I have to sit on the aisle seat. And have I ever told you about that?
No, I mean, I always thought you loved the theater.
Well, I do love the theater and all that, but I probably couldn't eat dinner and feel sick and, nervous when we go.
Going to the theater
Yes,
gives you indigestion.
Well, yeah.
Afterwards or before
No,
you're going to go to it? Anticipating you can't eat before you go to the theater.
Yeah, right. And
Why?
Well, that's what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
When I was a young child and of a culturally oriented family in the New York area, like many children, I was taken by my parents, but not to many concerts, and so forth.
Okay.
And there was a concert by Walter Damrosch. I think he's often conducted the Philharmonic. And anyhow, these concerts took place for children in the afternoon. And we would come into the theater and we would sit down, and then pretty soon this distinguished-looking, white-haired, I remember now, man would come out and he would say, with a little accent, "Good afternoon, children." And the whole Carnegie Hall would say, "Good afternoon, Uncle Damrosch." And so this was fine. Now, I did not go alone. I mean, that is to say, it wasn't just my mother and me. We were three cousins within a few months of each other in age, and I was the youngest. I was a year younger than the oldest one. But we were all in the same grade and in school, and we did a lot of things together. And they loved to tease me, and I loathed them so heartily. And we went through almost all school together through high school, from preschool practically. And they convinced me that I had an inferiority complex. When they could hardly pronounce those words and things like that. but in any and Aunt Dorothy was Virginia's mother. She was the oldest, Virginia, and she took us this particular afternoon that's so critical to my life.
Okay.
She took us that afternoon, and I don't know how we were seated particularly, but Aunt Dorothy was on the aisle, I know that, and I was probably all the way in, and let's say Virginia, who sort of queened it over us because she was the oldest, was in the middle. And Jean, who was the cutest, was near Aunt Dorothy. When, during the performance, smoke started to arise behind the orchestra.
Good.
And not lots, just a little, but you don't need a lot of smoke in a theater to get your attention. And we all sniffed around, and then everybody started pulling their stuff close to them, as though, they might catch fire. And then little by little people started going. And then they got nervous, and it built up. And pretty soon, Aunt Dorothy reaches right over whoever's next to her, Jean, let's say, and pulls at Virginia. And she says, "Come along, Virginia." And out the aisle she goes, mowing down everybody else. And Jean and I are there in the aisle. I mean, Aunt Dorothy just walked out without us. I mean, we were going to follow her, presumably, in her mind. But she only had one hand for Virginia and one to hold on to the chairs and push other people around. And so...
Did she look back?
Huh?
Did she look back?
I don't remember that. I can't answer that truthfully. Would like to think she did. But in any case, we scrambled for ourselves, and I don't remember a thing after that, except that I never felt the same in a theater again.
Well, that would be enough to make me anxious.
But I don't know that I ever really told him that story.
Because Grandpa was a very empathetic kind of guy. I think he would be able to pick up on somebody kind of sitting there intensely clutching
Well,
their
I'll
handbag.
tell you something. He was kind of protection against everything for me.
You mean you
So
didn't
that
feel
he
as
might,
bad?
I didn't feel that badly with him because I knew he would, kill anybody that tried to hurt me or get me out of the fire or,
You're the fire. You weren't afraid of fire if you were.
No, I'm really not unusually afraid of fire.
But with him, I mean, that was...
No. I mean, in the theater, I felt... I think I didn't feel the pressure as much with him as I grew older. Just about through with the coleslaw.
What can we do? We have these anxieties. We all have these worries about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the things that we can do?
Well, the way you're supposed to do it is just do it, and then pretty soon you see that nothing happens, and you're fine. And I think probably to a large degree that's what happened in my middle years. That I felt content. Enough, and but by myself, I'm sort of reverting to indulging old bad things,
You're indulging the
indulging.
fear. What is it? Why do we do that? Because I do that all the time. Where you feel bad about something, but you hold on, like if you have heartache, and you hold on to that
Yes.
ache
Yeah.
You know you're not feeling good. You deliberately stubbing your toe against the wall over and over.
Right.
Why are we
Well,
doing it?
it's like you break your arm or something, and then you push at it to see if it still hurts, you
Still
know,
broken. It's
right?
always still broken.
Still
Never
broken.
fixes it when you
No,
do that.
no. But you know that, and but you do it anyway.
Do you think is that like a human thing? We'd rather be certain of the pain than not be sure of
Well, I mean,
something
well, that's
else.
an interesting thought. But on the other hand, I mean, I did break my hip, and yeah, even now, I keep poking it to see whether those spots are still sensitive.
Does poking it ever help?
Not ever.
I broke my arm 4 times.
Did you?
I broke this one 3 times and this one once, and they say that every time you break it, it grows back. Not it grows back. That doesn't. That the bones are they're twice as hard to break
Is that
afterwards.
so? Well,
So
maybe they should take every baby and
rough them up a bit,
yeah,
right? I mean, my left arm is 8 times. The bones in my what is this a femur?
yeah. Well, I don't know.
That doesn't seem right.
Ulna.
Ulna, fibia, and the ulna, right? Is 8 times stronger. 8 times stronger than your average.
Is that so?
Your average ulna. I got pretty strong
Oh, I
ulnas.
found something wonderful for you.
What?
Hey, just found it while I was inside.
Sick of it.
Thing.
My anxiety. And remember, folks, be good to your parents. They've been good to you. You win.
Maybe they should take every baby and
Rough them up a bit.
yeah.